My name is Benjamin Adams, and I've been in the banking industry for over 20 years. I spend my days, and I'm talking about every day, reviewing personal credit, going through bank statements, analyzing tax returns, pay stubs, and W-2s for Americans all over the US from coast to coast. If there is one thing that constantly amazes me, it's how many people I come across that are earning 2, 3, 400, and in some cases, 500,000 or more who are broke. In today's video, I'm going to break down the top 5 reasons why so many high-income earners in the United States struggle with money, and a lot of the time are still living paycheck to paycheck. In the comments below, please share what are some things that you would like to learn about money, or what are some challenges that you have had. Check the pinned comments for mine. Remember, we are all here to learn, to grow, and to build together. Reason number 1, fail to plan, plan to fail. In the United States, we've been taught, brainwashed, to consume. We want to make a lot of money so we can spend a lot of money and live the high life. And here's the reality. Most high-income earners still have the same financial IQ and habits as those who were poor and struggle with money. The difference? The folks who are poor just don't have the high-income piece. So even though these earners are oftentimes making between 2 to 500,000 or more, they actually have a very poor financial mindset because they don't have an actual plan and their focus lies around consumption. They may have learned how to earn a high income, but they've never developed the skills or educated themselves or read books on how to retain and build wealth. And that is also why it really matters, why it's so important to start building these healthy financial skills when your income is low. Because how you manage a little is how you manage a lot. Remember, it's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep. And that is exactly why it is so important to have a plan. Having a plan is what allows for the skill of financial discipline to develop. Because without it, you're just blowing in the wind at the mercy of your emotions or the influence of others. Financial discipline gives clarity, purpose, and conviction to your everyday choices and behaviors. And this is what most folks really struggle with. Did you know that most people, and this is regardless of income, don't actually know how much money is coming in every month? Did you know that most people also don't know how much is going out every month? Well, if you don't know what money you have coming in and what is going out, it is going to be impossible to win with money. And here's a personal story. I don't come from a wealthy family. I was forced to learn a lot of these skills starting at a younger age. When I was a college student, I worked part-time at a cashier at my school's rec center, making around $6 an hour. I was also a hasher at a sorority where I worked between 6 to 10 hours a week so I could get free meals. And I even had an unpaid internship at UBS where I got paid in information, knowledge, and experience. And this was on top of being a student. Why? Because I wanted to learn how money works and start investing. Even though at the time, I hardly had any money to invest. It centered my financial focus and gave me clarity on how to behave and win with money. Learn how money works and develop a money plan. Reason number 2, keep expenses low and swim upstream. Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart and one of the most instrumental entrepreneurs of the 20th century, had 10 rules that he created and built Walmart with, 2 of which I'm going to share today. Sam's rule number 9, control your expenses better than your competition. Sam believed that having the ability to control your expenses and keep them low was a huge competitive advantage because it allowed him to have the freedom to take on new ideas that were considered riskier in nature. He was the first big retailer that built out his own shipping fleet. He was one of the first to implement profit sharing for his employees, and he was also the first discounter to implement the use of computers into his distribution systems back in the 1970s, which was considered highly risky at the time. And he operated at record low margins to keep prices for his customers as low as possible. All of these decisions propelled his business forward. Even when other new ideas didn't work out, because his expenses were low and his efficiency was so high, he was able to recover from his mistakes. Whereas other retailers like Sears, Kmart, and others were not. This is something a lot of high earners don't do. A lot of high earners also have high expenses because they don't think of their household as a business. A lot of their expenses are in the form of consumer debt, which is constantly taking money out of their pocket. And when expenses are high, they're only one life event, one economic downturn, and one bad month away from real financial problems. When expenses are low, it allows you to win and think differently, which was also one of Sam's rules. Sam's rule number 10, swim upstream. Sam believed in swimming upstream, ignoring conventional wisdom, and found his niche and success by not going down the same path as everyone else. In fact, he would often reference how he would usually do the opposite of everyone else. And he took great satisfaction in breaking rules, and how this was critical to his success. In America, we are conditioned how to think, told what to value, what to spend our money on, and how and where to spend our time. So few of us are really in control and consistently making decisions that are truly in our best interests. And high income earners are no different. The normalized standard is to have nice things, go on nice vacations, and live life a certain way. And so many of us live like this regardless of our income. But it is this exact mentality that is so dangerous. We already know that Americans have record student loan debt, have record credit card debt, and 80% of Americans still live paycheck to paycheck. We know where following the crowd leads. It leads to debt, it leads to stress, and it leads to a lack of opportunity. When you follow the crowd, you stay plugged into the system, an economic system that is designed to keep you poor. But when you swim upstream and live differently, spend differently, and learn how to invest and build strong financial discipline, that is where things get exciting and anyone can truly create the life that they want. Reason number 3, upgraded housing costs. Your home is not an asset. Damn, that is a controversial statement. But that is one of the fundamental beliefs of Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and billionaire real estate investor Grant Cardone. Let's be honest for a minute. For someone like me who works in mortgage banking and helps others acquire their first home, their dream home, their second home, or an investment property, that statement causes me a lot of anxiety. First, I'm going to tell you why they're wrong, but then I'm going to tell you why they're right. Robert Kiyosaki and Grant Cardone are wrong because firstly, your home really is an asset, and not just any type of asset, but one that is going to go up in value. I bought my first primary home in 2010 with only $3,000 out of pocket. I sold it 5 years later, reinvested the proceeds into a new primary residence in 2015, and now that little $3,000 investment is worth over $500,000 in equity in my primary residence in 2024. Not only that, but because my mortgage is on long-term fixed rate debt, my housing payment has completely stabilized. So my mortgage payment is the exact same in 2024 that it was in 2015. But since inflation has increased, my income has continued to go up, and the percentage of my mortgage payment compared to my income has decreased considerably. In 2015, my housing expense was around 35% of my income. Now, it's less than 10%, and this is thanks to inflation. Today, I have more money to do other things with simply because my housing expense hasn't increased at all in the past 14 years. So both these guys are wrong because your home really is an asset that is going to go up in value, build equity, stabilize your housing, and allow for other opportunities. Now, let me tell you why they are right. Kiyosaki and Cardone are right when they say your home is not an asset because most people, and especially high-income earners, don't treat their home as an asset. They treat it as a liability. Have you ever heard of the expression house poor? When someone is house poor, it means the amount of financial resources it takes to maintain the home is so significant that there's literally no money left over for anything else. And that is when owning a home becomes a liability. And I see this happen all the time. I'll see someone who just got a significant promotion or a raise at work, and the first thing they do a lot of times is want to upgrade their lifestyle with a new home. This usually means selling their old home, rolling all of their equity into the new one, and because they're basing their affordability off of their new income, well, their mortgage payment may have doubled, tripled, or more. And all of this money is coming out of their pocket. Sure, a lot of times the new home is going to be beautiful, and that is why it is attractive to higher earnings. But the payment is going to be so high that they aren't going to have the opportunity to invest or contribute towards their 401k or start saving for an investment property. And a lot of times, they aren't even thinking about ways to grow their money. Their entire focus on just getting the mortgage paid and scrapping by with a $500,000 income. And you might think I'm joking, but I am not. I see a lot of individuals making a $500,000 income, living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to get by. And it's not really how you want to live your life. Reason number 4, future earnings versus yesterday's expenses. Have you ever had a day where your alarm clock didn't go off and you were late to work? And there was a chain reaction that echoed throughout the day, and you just ended up being behind on everything and everywhere you went. I know I have, and in fact, this type of behavior used to be very common for me. But you know what I decided? I decided that it was no way to live because I hated playing and living from behind, constantly feeling like I was always late. And it gave me stress, anxiety, and it was even embarrassing at times, so it prompted change. But here's the deal though. Most Americans, and especially high-income earners, live this way with their money because the philosophy is, I'll just go make more. A terrible place to live is where your future earnings, income that you haven't even earned yet, are already earmarked for past choices and past expenses. And usually, this comes in the form of excessive consumption. The system is designed to keep the overall economy moving forward and the individual consumer poor. And this is accomplished through the extension of credit, specifically credit cards and installment loans for cars. Similar to their desire to have upgraded homes, high earners have a general desire to upgrade their lifestyle. It could be because of the social expectations, peer influence, or an appreciation for the finer things in life. But when unchecked, it will wreak financial havoc. Now, a high earner might have a nice home with a beautiful car, the best social memberships. But when this consumption is accomplished through debt, really that high income earner is just a slave to their choices, and their lack of discipline keeps them living from a place of demand and stress. Remember, financial stress or financial peace often spill into many areas of one's life. Has financial stress ever caused discord in your marriage? Has it caused anxiety for your family? Has it impacted other relationships or goals? Well, the answer is yes, because that is exactly what it does. This is another reason why it is so important to build out the correct skill sets as you increase your income. Reason number 5, not putting gas in the wealth machine. High income earners aren't just doing the wrong things with their money. A lot of times, they're also not doing the right things. Kiyosaki has again said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that the biggest mistake that the poor and middle class make is spending their lives buying liabilities instead of assets. He teaches that if you want to become wealthy, you simply need to spend your life buying assets. And remember, having a high income does not mean you're wealthy. Owning assets means you're wealthy. And I see this all the time. There's nothing wrong with wanting a new car or an upgraded home, but when liabilities are purchased first, not only is it much more difficult to acquire assets, in some cases it's impossible, it's the philosophy that is flawed. A poor mindset spends first and saves what's left over, where a wealthy mindset invests first and spends what's left over. Earners focused on liabilities pay everyone else first, and most of the time there's nothing left for them to save, make it impossible to invest, grow their wealth, and actually get out of the rat race. Go buy assets first, and then use the cash flow from the assets to pay for the liabilities. Wealth starts with the wealthy attitude. Then it transforms into wealthy habits, like paying yourself first, and then it manifests into the accumulation of appreciating cash-producing assets. In order to keep your wealth machine burning, you always need to be filling it up with gas in order to keep it running. Create the right mentality first, and you can. So where do you go from here? Start by clicking on how to get rich and instructions on how to stay poor for more great content on how to build wealth. This is Ben Adams with American Money 101. Until next time.